Minneapolis, fraud, abuse, immigrants, illegal immigrants. Take a look at what happened recently.
Now, large-scale raids targeting federal fraud currently underway. Federal agents seen leaving the Quality Learning Center.
Leering.
And Brooke Taylor has more on that and what they're looking for. Brooke, good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Yeah, we have had a photographer there at the daycare since this morning, capturing video of those federal agents just going in and out of the building, collecting evidence as part of the DOJ's fraud investigation in Minnesota. Take a look at this video here. Sources tell Fox that federal agents are raiding about 22 businesses across Minneapolis this morning, and sources say many of them are tied to Somali-owned operations. All of this comes after that viral YouTube video from Nick Shirley. It was back in December. In that video, he visited different child care centers, and you'll remember they were either closed or there were just no children inside, despite receiving state child care funding. Now, the location that you're looking at right now, it's the Quality Learning Center. This is the daycare. It went viral. It blew up on social media because of a sign outside with learning that was literally misspelled. The Education Secretary at the time claimed that the daycare received $1.9 million while, quote, masquerading as a daycare. And then shortly after that, the Trump administration announced it was freezing child care funding to Minnesota and calling for a full audit of certain daycare centers. And just checking my emails now, it looks like we got a statement from DHS sharing, quote, Homeland Security investigations in cooperation with our law enforcement partners executed criminal search warrants in Minneapolis relating to the rampant fraud. A statement from DHS sharing, quote, Homeland Security investigations in cooperation with our law enforcement partners executed criminal search warrants in Minneapolis relating to the rampant fraud of U.S. taxpayers' dollars. And as you could see there, federal agents still outside one of those daycare centers where they have been the last few hours.
All right, good stuff. So finally, FBI is getting in there. They're cracking down on these absolute scammers, these fraudsters. They don't even run a business. They file some paperwork, put some fake information on there, and then they just rake in all of our tax dollars that we pay. And, it's just theft. It's flat out theft. And they should all go to jail for a very, very long time. And if they're immigrants, legal immigrants, they should be stripped of their citizenship that they got, and they should be deported. If they're illegal immigrants, they should just be deported. I don't even bother throwing them in a cell. Just deport them. Get them out of here. And then Tim Walz came out and said this. This was yesterday. He said this. If you commit fraud in Minnesota, you're going to get caught. And that's exactly what we saw today. We catch criminals when state and federal agencies share information. Joint investigations work, and securing justice depends on it. Now, as we all know, Tim Walz has been explicitly against people like Nick Shirley ever since Nick Shirley released his video on these quality learning centers and this Somali fraud in Minnesota. Tim Walz has been against Nick Shirley, just much like Gavin Newsom, but he's singing a different tune now that the feds are there. And look at the massive ratio, by the way. 5.1 thousand likes, 22,000 comments, quadruple ratioed in the comments. That's insane, by the way. 5 million views, 5,000 comments. That's also atrocious. And then he followed up. Today's raids by state and federal law enforcement happened because our state agencies caught irregular behavior and reported. I think he means Nick Shirley did. That's how the system is supposed to work. That is how it's supposed to work. That's not how it worked, though. You had to have a 20-year-old kid with a camera come in and investigate it for you, dude. And our agencies will keep at it as long as there are fraudsters around to put behind bars. So he's just bloviating, lying. Just, he's trying not to get thrown in jail himself because we all know he's part of the cover-up. Everybody knows it, allegedly. Then Kash Patel, FBI Director Kash Patel, this is the best part, quote retweets Tim Walz and says, "Come again? This FBI and DOJ with our DHS partners drafted and executed every search warrant today. FBI, DOJ, DHS. None of that is state assets or law enforcement. But go ahead and take credit for our work while we smoke out the fraud plaguing Minnesota under your governorship." Damn, he cooked his ass. So yeah, love to see Kash just going in on Tim Walz. Hope we see the same thing in California, and I hope Nick Shirley takes these fraud investigations around the country to, not just Democrat places, but Republican states as well, because I guarantee this fraud is rampant all around the country. Guarantee it. Love to see it. W. Kash Patel, Tim Walz. Hope you rot in jail soon. You deserve it. Yeah, that's about all I wanted to check out on this one. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.